Hey guys, it's me, Terry of the Yarnjoy podcast. Welcome to the last section of the Sunny Days Beach Bag Crochet Along. Okay, so if you watched my video from last week, well, my regular Yarnjoy podcast video, I was describing how I was running out of this pink yarn that I was using on my bag, and I didn't know for sure if I would be able to do the third section of this chevron design because I was running out. And so I did calculate how much I was going to need for this one single row, and then I subtracted from what I had of the yarn left over, and I was not going to have enough yarn to do another repeat of this pattern. But it is for me, it is the bag size is plenty big enough. But there are some lovely pictures over on our Facebook group where people have done all three sections of their bags and they look awesome. So if you want to stop after the second section and end your bag there if you feel like it's big enough, or go ahead and do the three sections, it's just a repeat, and so feel free to do that. But like I said, I was running out of this pink yarn and I didn't want to have to go and buy some more just to get 2 rounds of pink to complete another piece of the pattern. So anyway, I stopped after the second section, and then I want to go ahead and show you how I'm going to line it. Okay, so there's different ways that you can line it. In the pattern, there's a pretty thorough picture tutorial on how the lady that designed this pattern, how she lined her bag, and so you can follow that tutorial if you want to do that. Now this is yarn, and so it's worsted weight yarn is what I did mine out of, and it's fairly stiff, sturdy, especially if you're going to, when you fill it up with yarn, you may feel like you don't need to line it at all. It can just be a tote bag. So that's definitely an option. Now there's a viewer on our Facebook group, or member on the Facebook group, sorry, that finished her bag, and she lined it with a really neat idea, I think. She had a canvas bag already, and she said that this canvas bag that had handles, it fit right down inside of her tote bag perfectly. And so all she did was she inserted that canvas bag into her tote bag, and then she stitched through the canvas bag in the top of her bag to secure it inside, to attach it, in other words, and use the handles of the canvas bag as the handles for her total tote. And I think that was an awesome idea. I don't have a canvas bag that I could use that way, but if you have one, a lot of times we get free tote bags from companies and different sources where we'll just get a tote bag free. And so that is definitely an option that you can try out and see if you have something that will fit inside of your bag. If it's a plain tote bag, this of course would dress it up quite a bit. Or if it's a tote bag that's got a company name on it or something, or some type of advertisement, and you don't want to necessarily have that written on your tote bag, then this is a great option as far as using that tote bag and covering up with your work. That makes sense. Oh, and then you could even get canvas tote bags at thrift stores as well. Possibly could find something that you could use. Anyway, so this is what I'm going to use. Okay, so a while back I bought some material or some fabric. Okay, I'm always looking in the fabric department for what they call remnants, which is leftover bolts, leftover pieces of bolts of the fabric that they've just folded up and taped together or whatever, and then sold it like that at a cheaper price. Okay, so they had this fabric, which I thought was fabric, and it was all folded up, and it was just labeled as remnant, and I don't remember what the price was. But after I got it home and took it apart, opened it up, and I discovered that it was not fabric at all. It was 2 king-size pillowcases. And so I thought, oh well, I mean, it's a big piece of fabric. Now this is just a piece of it because I cut it off, but I thought I could just use it as, you know, just cut it up and use it as fabric, even though it was a pillowcase. Well, I still hadn't done anything with them. And so I was thinking, you know, because I was thinking that since this was a pretty big size bag, that maybe this pillowcase would fit down inside of it. And I mean, it's already hemmed and it's already seamed up, so I wouldn't have to cut any fabric. Now, since this was a king size pillowcase, if you are familiar with king size pillowcases, they are huge. And so my idea is to put this down inside the tote bag and then cut it off where I need, and then that way all I would have to do is fold it over and tuck it in the edge, along the edge of the bag, and then stitch it, okay? And then I could stitch my handles, the handles that I choose to use, and then stitch through the whole entire thing, and then I would have my bag lined. And so that's what I'm gonna do. So now for the bottom of the bag, now what I did do for that is I had some plastic canvas. See, you can see the plastic canvas down in there. I had this very large sheet of plastic canvas, and so I measured the bottom of my bag, and the bottom of my bag is roughly, approximately 6 inches by 15 inches, and so I just cut a piece of plastic canvas, okay, that measurement, minus just a tad, not much, and then I just inserted it and put it in the bottom of the bag. Okay, so my idea is that will stabilize the bottom of it, or help, you know. I mean, plastic canvas is not real solid, but it is would be better than nothing, I think. Anyway, so I took my so the next thing I did is I measured it. Okay, I got my tape measure. What I do with it? I got my tape measure and I measured from the bottom of my bag all the way to the top, and my measurement for my bag measured roughly 11 to 12 inches, something like that. And so I cut a piece of the pillowcase, okay, I think I measured it and cut it like at about 16 to 18 inches because I wanted to have extra inches to work with if I needed to adjust something. Okay, so the next thing I did is I want the print of the pillowcase to be on the inside of my bag, I mean where you can see it. Okay, so in order to do that I need to turn the pillowcase inside out. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. So that way when you open the bag you're gonna see this print instead of the back side of the pillowcase. Okay. Okay, so the idea is to insert this into my bag. Okay, and I did that, and I think it's going to fit fine. The only thing is it seemed to be some extra material kind of on the inside there, and I think it's because my pillowcase is not, my bag has got like a box bottom, square bottom, but my pillowcase doesn't. But it is not hard to do that. So let me show you how you can box the bottom of your pillowcase. Okay, let's see, you're gonna need some pins, okay? And then I'm gonna insert my hand into the corner, okay, see, hello, into the corner of my pillowcase, and I want the seam of the pillowcase right down the middle of my hand that's in there, okay? And that way you can get that piece stretched out. You can stretch your fingers apart to get a square edge, not square, square corner, and then pinch it down because I'm going to lay that flat and it's going to be like a triangle. See that? Okay, and then now there is a seam on the back side too, and so you want to line up that seam with this seam. You can just kind of feel where you're lining them up and you can kind of get it lined up together there. Okay. Ooh, there, gotta stretch your material out, fabric. Okay, so you go like that. Okay, so my bag is 6 inches wide, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tape measure here, get the right end, and I'm going to, I'm going to say maybe 2.5 inches from the corner that I'm going to mark. Okay, I got a marking pen right here. So I'm going to do it at about the 2.5 inch mark, about there. Make a mark. See that? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, and then you can go like this and draw your line all the way across if you want a stitching line. My lines are very rough, I know. Okay, now I'm going to pin it through both thicknesses, so then I can, I'm going to stitch this. Okay, so that's how I'm going to mark, and then I'm going to stitch on my sewing machine across there. Okay, on that line that I marked. Now I need to do the other corner just the same way that I did that one. Okay, now this one doesn't have a seam, but it does have a line where it was folded, so that's good. So we can do the same thing here. Just get that line down where the center of that triangular point is. Okay, pinch it together. And then lay it down and then measure. I did 2.5 inches, so I'm going to do 2.5 inches over here, and I'll make a mark. Okay, and then I'll draw my line across. Okay, and then I'm going to take some pins and pin that through both the thicknesses. Okay, now I'm going to take it over to my machine, my sewing machine, and then I'm going to sew across that line, okay, on both corners, okay, and that should box our box the bottom, and then it should fit better in the inside the tote bag. Okay, so I'm going to take myself over to the machine, and I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to take my pins out. Okay, so I just stitched a seam right across there. Now I want to test it out. Before I start cutting anything, I want to insert my bag in this liner inside the tote bag, just to see if I think that helped take up some of that extra fabric. Okay, right now I'm going to just fold over this excess of the pillowcase, just to see if I can see the inside here. Yeah, I think that's going to work. I know it's really hard for you to see. I have the camera sitting on top of a box. This right there, you can see that. Okay, see, it made a nice bottom there to my bag, if you can see down in there. Okay, so that is the first thing I'm going to do. I mean, I like that, and in fact, I don't even, if I don't want to, or if you don't want to, you don't even have to pull it out to cut that triangular piece off where you stitched. I don't think it's necessary to do that, because, you know, no, it's fine. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is think about the handles. Okay, so I bought this cotton webbing or strapping, I don't know what you call it, at Hobby Lobby the other day. They had it half price per yard, so I got it for like I don't know, it was less than $1 a yard. And so I got like 4 yards of it because it was a nice navy blue color, and I thought that it would work well with the bag since I've got some navy blue coloring in here. And also, it's just a good neutral color. So I got like 4 yards of it. And so I'm going to use this as my handle. Now, you can use nylon webbing. I think they call it webbing straps. I've gotten that off of Amazon before. But I mean, if you go to like Hobby Lobby in the fabric department, you can find this cotton canvas type webbing and it's like where they have the elastic and the lace and ribbons and stuff that are on bolts. Okay, I'm not bolts, like on a cardboard circle. Okay, and so that's an option. Or you can crochet straps if you prefer, or you can go to Goodwill and look at the purses that they have and just find a purse that you like the straps, and the purse might be $3 or $4, and I mean you don't have to use the purse part. You may think the purse is ugly but you like the straps, and so buy the purse, bring it home, take the straps off, and then you can use it for this if you want to. But there's plenty of tote bag patterns, free ones that you can find online that have crocheted straps that you can look up and use that strap if you want to. And if you crochet, when you hold your strand of yarn when you're crocheting the handles or the straps, if you crochet it along with like some fishing line or something like that, it's clear, see-through, that fishing line, then that will help your just hold it together with your yarn strand and then crochet with that, and that would help your strap not to stretch. So just a little tip. Okay, so as you can see, my liner is a whole lot longer than what I need, and so now I can kind of remeasure it. And another thing I can do is go ahead and you could insert some yarn inside there to help you kind of measure how much you need for the liner. Okay, and then you just fold it over like that, and then you're going to tuck all that in. So the piece that I cut, that raw edge, is going to be tucked in, and you're not going to see that. Okay, so let me go ahead, and I'm going to get some big skeins of yarn, and I'm going to put that inside my tote bag so that way I can see where I need to pin my tote. Pin the liner to the tote. Okay, so I put some yarn down in my tote bag here, and I know this is getting really close to the camera now. I really need the camera up a lot higher than what I'm working on. It'd be easier for you to see what I'm doing, I guess, but this is the setup that I have right now. Anyway, so I put these big skeins of yarn in there to kind of help hold the shape of my tote bag, and then I tuck that raw edge down into the side of the tote bag, and I'm going to take my pins and I'm going to start pinning. Okay, I'm going to start pinning it in place where I want it to be. Okay, and you don't want it poking over the top, if you can keep from it poking over the top of your crocheted piece. Okay, and of course when you are sewing this, if you can hand sew it. If you don't have a machine, don't worry about it. You can always get a needle and thread and whip stitch it on here. But if you are using a machine, you can kind of adjust it as you're sewing it on. Okay, so I'm going to pin this all the way around, and if I need to adjust it, then I can do that. And I will be right back to show you that I have it pinned, okay? Okay, so I think I've got it pinned where I want it. Now you can always undo a pin, and if you feel like there's too much fabric on the inside here, once you kind of put something in there to kind of help hold the shape, then you can always fold this piece, fold it under more, toward the bag part. Okay, the cuff would be in between the bag and the liner, and just repin it. I did that a few times, and I just went around and I used a lot of pins, but I think I've got it. You know, it's not perfect, but it's just for me, and I think it's going to work. The lining is going to be fine. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is decide how long I want my straps. And so all I'll do is, now if you have a tote bag that you like that would be similar size to this, and you like the length of the straps, how it fits on you, then measure the straps of that bag, but then add like an inch to inch and a half or so, because that you want to have that at least that much inserted inside the bag. Okay, and I'm going to insert inside between the liner and my crocheted piece, and then when I sew, I will sew through all the thicknesses and attach, then it will be attached in the inside, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I need to go ahead and I'll insert it in. I'll insert it into the bag about where equal distance from one end to the other. Like I'll measure it. Let's see, it was about 15 inches, so I might go in like 3 inches on each end, and then that's where I will put my pin. Put the end of my strap, okay? And then, let me go ahead and do that. I'll just pick a place here and insert my strap. Like that, okay? Like that. And I want to insert it, have a inch or two inside there. And then when you're going to pin it, make sure you go through the strap and all the thicknesses, including the liner piece, and then pin it on there just like that, see? And then if it's 3 inches, if I measured 3 inches on that side from where it's the box shape is, from the edge, then I'll do this on the other side the same thing, 3 inches from that end, and then put the strap at the same spot. And then I'm going to take this, put it over my shoulder, and decide where I'd like for it to hang. And then I will, that's where I'll cut the strap off. But remember to allow a couple of inches that's going to be inserted into the bag for securing it. And then I will measure how long that strap is, and then I will cut another piece the same length and do it on the opposite side. Okay? So let me do that, and then I'll come back and show you the next step. Okay, so I got my straps pinned in where I want them to go. You can also stretch it across. Let me do it this way, see? And that way you can kind of make sure that they're evenly spaced from the edges and in line with each other. Okay, now all I'm going to do now is go to my machine, and I'm going to stitch a seam all the way around the top of this bag, and make sure I'm going through all the two thicknesses of the bag and the liner. And also when I get to where the strap is, go ahead and go through, make sure it goes through all 3 thicknesses, the strap, the crochet piece, the strap, and the liner. And also what you can do is when you get to each strap, I like to maybe do 2 or 3 more little lines there that go through all those 3 thicknesses, just to strengthen the strap, okay, or attach it better. Okay, so that's all we need to do. And then let me go ahead and do that. And like I said, when I run it through the machine, I can adjust my liner a little bit if I think that the liner's gonna try to peek up above my crocheted piece. Then I can kind of fold it over and tuck it under to make sure it doesn't do that. Okay, and then I will be back when I do that. And like I said, if you don't have a machine, you can hand stitch this in. I have done that before. Okay, so that's no problem. If you don't have a machine, you should be able to do that. Now, it may be kind of difficult to get a needle through this strap, but I think if you've got a pretty strong heavy-duty needle or something to push it through, thimble, you should be able to do that. Okay, let me sew it in. Okay, so I got the liner all stitched into my bag, and I've got the straps securely stitched in between the liner and the crocheted piece. And so my bag is done. If you want to, you can put in a button, not button, but like sew in some snaps if you want to have a closure of some sort, but you don't have to. Okay, so thank you so much for participating in this beach bag crochet along. I hope you had a fun time doing it. I really enjoyed and am enjoying the pictures that you have been posting over on our Facebook group. If you're not on Facebook and you want to send a picture of your bag to me so I can see it, feel free to email me. My email address is in the description box below, and with your permission, just let me know if it's okay, and I will share it on here on the YouTube channel with everybody else. Okay, so thanks a lot, guys. I hope you have a great day, and we will be seeing you tomorrow for Whip Wall Wednesday. See you later, guys. Bye.